Good morning, Poof. Thank you all for being here this morning for this special program. It is my pleasure to introduce to you this morning's speaker. Hope Bohanec has been active in animal protection and environmental activism for over 35 years and is a nationally recognized leader and speaker in the animal protection movement. She is the executive director of Compassionate Living, host of the Hope for the Animals podcast, and has published 2 books on the subjects of humane washing and greenwashing. She co-founded the Humane Hoax Project, the Ahimsa Living Project, and has organized hundreds of online and in-person events, including the long-standing Sonoma County Veg Fest and the new, Eugene Veg Fest. Over the last 3 decades, Hope has worked for the national nonprofits United Poultry Concerns and In Defense of Animals, and has contributed chapters to 2 anthologies. Hope went from being a Southern Baptist in her upbringing to an atheist to studying Jain and Hindu Dharma for many years and is now a converted Jain. She founded the Ahimsa Living Project to bring to light the deep parallels between the Dharmic Religions and animal protection. It is my honor to call Hope a friend of 22 years and a longtime mentor. Please give a warm foof welcome to Hope Bohanec.
Thank you so much, Stanley. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you all for having me. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Well, I just am going to make sure. Yeah. All right. So, well, let me go back. We're going to keep it there. Okay. So, I'd love to start with my spiritual journey, because this is a spiritual gathering, and I think that hopefully some of you can relate. I was raised Southern Baptist, born again Christian, went to Sunday school and church religiously with my grandmother, my grandmama Opal, and I loved so much of it when I was a kid. I loved the love of Jesus, the love that she had for Jesus. But as I grew, there were inconsistencies, there were prejudices that didn't sit right with me, and by the time I was a teenager, I was atheist. I had rejected it all. And I considered myself agnostic. There was still a spark of spirituality, but I had rejected religion. And then I met my husband, Kojin. And this is in my 20s, it's been 30 years now. We've been married 26 years. And Kojin had a completely opposite upbringing as me. He actually was raised atheist with a father that ranted against religion and thought, religious people are stupid. But he was really drawn to the Dharma traditions. For some reason, they were resonating with him. He started studying Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. And he started introducing me to these concepts and these religions. And we went deep. And as you can see here, we do kirtan, which is it's a devotional music, call and response music in the Hindu and Jain tradition. And we've given programs in the past. And Kojin has his PhD, he has his master's in Buddhism, his PhD in Hinduism, and is now working for a Jain institute, and he's in India right now studying with the Jain Acharya. So we went deep. We've gone deep. It was so beautiful when I was awakening to these concepts and these religions. I realized that there was so much knowledge there as to how to create a better world. And things that I already resonated with, things that were already sacred to me, preserving life, ending suffering, compassion, environmental protection, protecting animals, protecting the planet, all these beautiful things. And I started seeing the awe and reverence for life again through the Dharma traditions. So I want to briefly introduce you to the Jains, Jain Dharma. So we're more familiar with Hindu Dharma and Buddhist Dharma. Those are the two traditions that we're more familiar with. But the Jains are the third Dharma religion in India. They are a smaller population and ancient. They're the oldest one of the three. But we don't know about them here in the West. So just a little bit about them. They feel that the highest ethical principle, the highest principle in any action we take, any thought that we think, is ahimsa, nonviolence. And they believe that every living being on earth has a soul, a jiva. They call the soul the jiva. And our highest good is to protect the jivas, protect all the little jivas, protecting the souls on earth. Yes. So it's really, really beautiful. I resonate with the Jains very, very much. And they have a long litany of songs and prayers and teachings that really continuously communicate that living beings have no right to take the life of other living beings. And the Jains understand that all lives are interdependent. I know that the UU teachings are this way as well, the interdependence of life, and that we should do the least harm that we can in our daily lives, our consumption, our purchases, and we're going to talk more about that. So the three Dharma traditions, and that's Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. And just so you know, this is Krishna. Krishna is one of the Hindu gods, and another name for Krishna is Govinda, and that means cow protector. So there's the three Dharma traditions, and they actually, I'm going to talk about three things that they agree with and that they all talk about, but they actually disagree on a lot, surprisingly. What is there a soul? What is the soul? Is there God or not? So they disagree on a lot. They're not all paralleled, but they do have these three concepts in common: dharma, karma, and ahimsa. So I just want to introduce you to them. Dharma, what is Dharma? Dharma on the macro level is kind of the harmonious flow of the universe, how the universe functions and flows. The natural, you could think, rules or truth that govern the universe. And then there's also societal societal dharma, our being in harmony with our community. And then on a micro level, there's your own personal dharma, your personal code of conduct. Are you living within your ethics, what you're supposed to be doing? Actually, your meaning of life, that's considered your swadharma, like what you were put here to do, right? So, it's all very connected. What your personal dharma affects the community and goes out into the universe, so very connected. So then there's karma. And karma, I think we're all more familiar with this term, right? We all kind of on some level know. And I think we can all kind of agree that what you put out, you get back, right? What energy you put out, you're going to get back. We all kind of know that that is a truth that we can all kind of agree on. That's karma. But in the Dharma traditions, it goes much, much deeper, and it gets into reincarnation, transmigration, the energy that you put out comes back, but it's lifetime after lifetime. Karma stays with you in your soul through lifetime after lifetime, and it determines the conditions of your next life. It's this beautiful, kind of an elegant system of cosmic justice. You could kind of think about it. It's cosmic justice, right? And again and again, we learn that at any time, for any reason, if you hurt another being, that draws bad karma to your soul, either physically, verbally, mentally, anything. It's drawing bad karma. So, and the concept of karma and eating animals is throughout the teachings. It's said over and over again in the Dharma traditions that killing and eating animals is the worst thing that you can do for your karma. It's just throughout. And interestingly, there's a shastra that you see, a theme that you see come up, again and again in different ways, but it basically goes, if you hurt an animal, however many hairs or feathers are on that animal's body, you will be reborn to suffer that many lifetimes. So this really powerful action and reaction, right? Very, very, very intensely focused on that we do not want to cause harm. So now that you have that context, how can we release karma and live dharmically? Okay. Ahimsa. Ahimsa means, of course, non-violence, non-harming. The word himsa means harm in Sanskrit, and negates it, so it's non-harming, non-harming, non-violence. However, you can kind of think about it more as an active, dynamic compassion, a compassion that is an action in everything that we do. Being compassionate is the highest and best action that we can take when faced with any situation. It's an ethical imperative. And ahimsa is throughout the teachings. There's numerous references, again, to ahimsa and not harming or eating animals. And when you practice ahimsa, you have good karma for yourself, right? And that brings good dharma to the community, goes out into the world, brings harmony and peace to the planet. It's so paralleled with vegan philosophy, living vegan, because a lot of us as vegans feel that this is a spiritual expression. And when you live vegan, it helps heal our physical bodies, one of the healthiest diets that you can do, especially if it's plant-based, whole foods, plant-based, living healthy in your body, in your mind, right? And then that helps and goes out to the environment. This is a wonderful diet for the environment. It has the lowest carbon footprint of any diet, plant-based. So beneficial to all planetary problems. So it's all very connected, right? Just like the Dharma Karma, ahimsa, being vegan helps in so many ways. So, okay, ahimsa paramo dharma, ahimsa paramo dharma. So now you know two of those words. Ahimsa, nonviolence, dharma, flow of the universe. So what's paramo? Paramo, it means highest or best. So ahimsa is the best way to bring harmony to the universe. You see this throughout the teachings, ahimsa paramo dharma. All the Dharma traditions believe that inflicting pain, dukkha, should be avoided whenever possible. We should consider the sensory capacities, the interests of the beings that are affected by our actions. There's a great deal of sensitivity around food and the harm that food can do in the production in the Dharma traditions. So beautifully paralleled with vegan philosophy, farmed animals are sentient beings that are deeply affected by our actions. And ahimsa not only includes restraining from hurting others directly with direct actions, but also indirectly. So not encouraging or paying for indirect harm you're causing, having someone else causing the direct harm, the butcher, the dairy farmer, the egg farmer. So to observe ahimsa, we have these individual responsibilities that go much deeper than our direct harm. It also has to do with our purchases and consumption. So going vegan is kind of like taking a vow. Vows are the first step on a yogic path, a dharmic path. If you're interested in wanting to get deeper into one of the Dharma traditions, you take vows. In the Hindu tradition, there's the 5 yamas, the first vows you take, very first one, ahimsa, nonviolence. With the Jains, vows are vratas, you take vratas, and the very first vrata, ahimsa. So vows make us stronger, make us more able to deal with adversity, burns karma, and again, vegans feel that a lot of vegans feel that this is a spiritual journey for us and helps with our spiritual expression. Okay, I want to introduce you to Kakuta. Kakuta is a rooster that I had the privilege of rescuing. Kakuta means rooster in Sanskrit, actually, And I'll tell the story briefly. It was a Easter Sunday morning, and I got a call that there was a rooster in distress down the street from me, like at a Walgreens. I get these calls. And so, you know, it was right down the street. I jumped in my car, I went to see, and there were a few people standing around in the parking lot. And there was this poor rooster just sprawled out, blood everywhere. He had been attacked by an animal. Blood everywhere, his little feathers were just caked in blood, his eye was swollen up this big, and we were all like, what do we do? It's Easter Sunday. It's not like we're going to be able to find a vet. It's so hard to find a vet that will care for chickens anyway, because chickens are bred to be killed, not healed. So I ended up with a rooster in my car and then in my bathroom, and set up a little area for him. In the next 48 hours, I nursed him, I worried, I doted, and did my best to heal him. And the reason I tell this story is that it was such a spiritual experience for me. It was this level of love that I had never, ever experienced before. I've had companion animals, I've loved them dearly, but this was different. His life was in my hands, and I felt so responsible. Farmed animals are very vulnerable. They are domestic animals that we should be caring for. So it was really intense. It was touch and go, but he did survive, as you can see. This is now Kakuta enjoying the sun in the backyard, and he went on to live in a sanctuary. And I'm so grateful that he made it through. We made it through. And, you know, this spiritual love that I experience, this is the kind of love that compels us to be vegan. It's that love that assures that we won't be complacent in the harm or exploitation of another being. All right, I want to introduce you to another concept, and that is speciesism. Speciesism, this may be a new word for you. And you know, I know that Unitarian Universalists have a real connection with justice, and I appreciate that so much. I've always felt a strong sense of justice and wanting justice for other species. So I'll just read this with you. Speciesism is an unconscious bias that one species is more important than another. And anti-speciesism is getting justice over the species barrier. So you can think of speciesism as just any other system of structural violence that you can think of: sexism, homophobia, transphobia, racism, all of these things. Speciesism is another form of structural violence. It's a collection of attitudes, ideas, beliefs that one species is dominant or more important than another species. And it's so often subconscious, cultural, psychological patterns that we don't recognize until it's pointed out, and then suddenly you start seeing it everywhere. And you know, this false assumption of human superiority has created horrible, horrible violence and exploitation of animals worldwide. So vegan is a social justice issue. It's broadening our circle of who deserves compassion. Anti-speciesism disrupts that systematic violence and exploitation of non-human animals. We have an opportunity. We're growing as a species, I believe, in coming into these beautiful concepts of unity and of interconnectedness. And with veganism, we have an opportunity to replace old paradigms that have kept life on this planet subjugated for too long. Speciesism is another paradigm of violence, oppression, and domination. It is time to uncover the injustice of treating someone cruelly, taking away their agency, and killing them for profit just because they're another species. Okay, so at this point, I'm sure that some of you might be thinking, well, you know, I'm a conscientious consumer. I buy the cage-free eggs. I buy the grass-fed beef. You know, I pay attention. I read the labels. Well, I've done extensive research on the labeling and marketing of animal products for decades. I've actually written 2 books on the subject. And what I've found is disheartening. I've found that there are inherent cruelties in all animal farming, no matter the label. There's separation of family and friends, there's painful body mutilations, there's monotony, there's psychological distress, slaughter at a very young age. These things don't change, no matter the label. These things don't change if they want the product to be profitable. There's these universal baked-in harms when there's any commodification of farmed animals for their flesh, dairy, and eggs. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to watch these 3 films, Earthlings, Dominion, and Christspiracy. Christspiracy is about the spiritual connection, all the different spiritual denominations and religions and their thoughts on animals. And Earthlings and Dominion, I will tell you, does have graphic imagery, so just know that going in. And I didn't use graphic imagery today, but there are so many horrific and gruesome photos and videos that I could have used. And just that alone, just that there's an industry that we would have to shield our children's eyes from the process, that alone should make us not want to support it. So, no one wants to see animals hurt, but we're complicit in their suffering and their exploitation if we're buying meat, dairy, and eggs. All right, I'm going to wrap up soon. I'm going to give you 2 quotes for the ending, and one comes from the Unitarian Universalists. This is from the General Assembly. It was one of the bylaws, and I'll just read this with you. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality, and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. So I want us to just take a moment on that, protect all beings from exploitation. There's no other vastly exploited non-human animal on Earth than those that are farmed for meat, dairy, and eggs on a huge scale, vast scale. So I encourage you to be inspired by Ahimsa, to find that way forward in a compassionate, nonviolent way, and not just to meditate on it, but to take action. How can our actions be in harmony with our ethics? How can we help the healing of the planet, our relationship to animals, repair that damaged relationship that's talking about here to animals? Being vegan is such a powerful way to deepen your spiritual journey, to not be complacent in farmed animals exploitation, and to help create that compassionate, loving, beautiful world that we all want to live in, that we want to live in, and that the farm animals want to live in too. All right, I'm going to wrap up with this last quote. This is from a Jain Yoga Shastra. All living beings are souls, alive and conscious, just like me. As I like to be happy and do not like to be in pain, all living beings like to be happy and do not like to be in pain. By keeping this insight at the core of my being, I will not cause any harm, pain, or loss of life to any living being. Thank you.